how the grasp and how people are just getting into the offense?
Yeah, I think we had a great pre-spring. Just in terms of the preparation, the video, the installs, everything that you would need. We had a great pre-spring going into spring. Good, 5 or 6 days of kind of repeating day 1, 2, and 3 install just to make sure that we're all on the same page. And it's kind of grown from there. I think from a grass standpoint, anytime that, from operationally, there's some improvement that needs to be made. Whiteouts, with a new system, new terminology, understanding how to get to open grass and get on their spots. But have been really proud of the O-line. Have been really proud of our, how well we've run the ball at times, not all the time. But right now it's really just identifying the guys that we can count on, learning the base fundamentals and techniques within the schemes, and really learn how to operate the way we want to operate.
Dustin, thank you.
Okay, well, Dustin Papirak, Bloomington Herald Times. You mentioned just figure out who you want in what spots. I mean, obviously, you're going to have a lot of new starters on this roster. I mean, a lot of guys are in new positions, and even the places you have starters, especially at quarterback, are going to have a pretty wide open competition. Does that kind of make this situation easier? I mean, how has that dynamic changed your job? Just the fact that so many guys are going to be in new spots or in more important roles than they have been.
Yeah, well, I think it goes 2 ways. I think number one, it creates unbelievable competition. And that's ultimately what you want at every single position. Number two, I think because it creates competition, you're able to get the best out of everybody. Number three, because guys are mixing and matching around, they're having to learn conceptually as opposed to kind of this is my spot. And that's been everywhere. That's kind of been with all 11 guys. Obviously we've been rotating a bunch of quarterbacks, rotating a bunch of wideouts, rotating tight ends. I mean, every single position, guys have had to learn, kind of the whole part and conceptually. Simply because, we're trying to identify who can do what, and to me, that's what spring really is. It's kind of trying to identify, what ultimately is going to allow us to be at our best on game day Saturday in the fall.
Hey, Coach. Keegan Nixon with thehoosier.com. Good to see you again. We're about to talk to Cam Camper after we talk to you. I just wanted to ask you kind of what you've seen from him. Obviously, being a junior college guy, fans might be less they might know less about Cam Camper. So I was just seeing what has he pointed out to you this spring, and what has impressed you about him?
I think the biggest thing with Cam is just his diligence. Cam is unbelievably committed to being the best player that he can be, mentally, physically, the way he takes care of his body. We call him Coach Cam because he is on almost every staff meeting that we have. Like, if he's not in class, he's with us. And I don't know if I've seen a newcomer receiver be as invested in the process of improving as he has. So I'm incredibly proud of him. He's an unbelievable worker on and off the field. He's always extremely prepared. He takes pride in his performance, and I think he's got a chance to be a really good football player for us.
See what you have and who can do what, but is it more for you going to be personnel worked into your scheme, or your scheme kind of worked around the personnel that you have once you see what you have?
No, to me it's all about personnel. We got to make sure no matter what we do, we're putting our best players in a position to be the best that they can be. Whether it be from, is it a wide out playing inside or outside? Is it a tight end that needs to be an inline guy or on the perimeter? Is it, this running back's more of a space player? To me, it's all about, obviously, every offense coordinator in the country has a scheme. You've got to have a starting base. You've got to have a starting point. But within those schemes, the personnel and making sure that not only are we putting our own personnel in the best possible opportunity that we can for them to be successful, but we're also putting our personnel in an advantage for them to be as successful as they can be on game day Saturday.
Hey, Luke, Christopher Norton, Indiana Daily student. We touched a bit on competition in quarterbacks, and as quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator, what have you seen from this group now that you're getting to work with them a bit more? You got to see them a bit this past spring. You got to see them a bit more in practice, see like how they process things, how they work. What makes each of them unique?
Well, I think just overall, before you start getting into individuals, I think as a group, incredibly diligent, like all the way from when I first got here, just the amount of preparation those guys have put in to well before we ever got to spring practice, number one. Number two is they're all easy learners. I think number three is they all possess a winnable set of tools, even though some of their tools are different than others. So I think we've got, 3 or 4 guys that give us an opportunity to play good football. And then individually, Jack Tuttle, same thing. Just how he prepares, how invested he is, what a great teammate he is. And he's got, enough ability that you feel really good when he's out there. I think Connor Bazelak, really good arm talent. Continuing to work with him about being diligent with his eyes, the suddenness, the body twitch required, to get from A to B. Dexter Williams is doing a really nice job. He's got big arm talent. Same thing, kind of getting his eyes and his feet in the right place from rep to rep. Donnie Mack, Donovan McCulley, just an unbelievable athlete, a guy that is, if he's the quarterback, the game will be played different, but he's got, good ability. Grant Grimmel's played in games for us, really conscientious, good with the ball in his hand, not going to put the ball in harm's way, and Will Johnson's done a nice job this spring as well. So I feel like I've got a really good group, proud of how they've worked, but we've got, 4 or 5 practices left where we got to continue to improve every day, and we can't let one slip by.
Just to keep going on the individual track, obviously you had to be wide receivers coach mostly until Coach Henry came along. What do you like about each of those guys in particular, the newcomers, and what they bring to the table?
Well,
Cam and also Henry Simmons.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, just from like the whole of the group is obviously everybody here knows what type of man Coach Allen is. And he has recruited very well that, and the kids that identify with Coach Allen and want to be Hoosiers, those are, great kids. So it's a great group of kids. They work hard. They've learned really well. How we play is a lot different than most people from a wideout standpoint. And I think those guys have done a really nice job, trying to figure out what we want and every single day aspiring to give us what the offense needs. So really proud of that group. Cam's been a really good addition. Emory Simmons has played good football. He's a really good addition. DJ Matthews is out for the spring. We get him back. He's going to be a really good player for us. Javon Swinton has done a really nice job every day. And not that these guys don't have room to improve or certain skills they need to work on, but feel really good about, the winnable tools in the group. McCall Ray has done a really nice job. Eli Yoakum's done a nice job. We've got a bunch of guys that are trying to do everything we ask them to do every day, and really proud of them, and everything that they've tried to learn, the work those guys are putting in. And then when Coach Henry got here, just so everybody understands, Coach Henry is an unbelievably impressive guy. He's coached football at the highest level, whether it be in college or the NFL, and it shows just the amount of detail, what a great guy is on our staff, and just how unbelievably dedicated he is to the detail and the preparation it takes to get a bunch of 18 to 21-year-olds to do what we need them to do. So just really excited about Coach Henry and the receiver group as a whole.
Oh yeah, just in the middle there, you said your wide receivers do play different than a lot of other people do. I just want to see if you can elaborate on that. What is different about the wide receiver position? Offense than it is about?
Just how they manage their grass, and I think that kind of goes back to, me growing up, as a player in the air raid, just, everything's not cookie cutter, everything's not the way that the way it looks on a playbook page isn't always the way it's going to look in real life, and so just learning how to manage the gray, because obviously Coach Allen and those guys do an unbelievable amount of stuff on defense. I think everybody knows that. It's not really a secret, but just learning how to manage the gray, knowing that not everything's perfect and not everybody's exactly where we expect them to be all the time. So a little bit more managing, and understanding how to be open and be in the grass that you need to be in at the right time.